A lot of people are not aware of this Nigerian law that has been very unfair to women. According to the Nigerian constitution, if a man marries a foreigner, she automatically becomes a Nigerian citizen because the law permits a man to confer his citizenship upon his wife. However, the same privilege does not extend to a Nigerian woman. A Nigerian woman cannot transfer her citizenship to her foreign husband. It is written koro in black and white in the Nigerian constitution, where it explicitly states that the provision of citizenship shall apply to any woman who is married to a Nigerian man. So all my sisters, we want to marry a woman. Take note though, this piece of legislation is just one of many forms of discrimination women face, which has kept them at a disadvantage in this country. For decades, Nigerian women activists have been in an uphill battle to level the playing field, demanding equity and equality under a law that has been so androcentric and skewed against women. It was for this reason that hundreds of women in March 2022 protested at the National Assembly in Abuja over the failed passage of 5 critical gender bills. These bills, rejected by lawmakers, aimed to uplift women's rights and opportunities in social, political, and economic spheres. In this video, we want to understand these 5 gender bills. What is so threatening about these bills that lawmakers will turn them down? And most importantly, how can we go about attaining gender justice in Nigeria? Nigeria has a poor track record when it comes to gender justice. I say this with a sad heart. Not me talk more. The United Nations ranked Nigeria as low as 168 out of 191 countries on the UN Gender Equality Index. This poor record shows that Nigeria is significantly lagging behind many countries when it comes to deliberately empowering and providing opportunities for women. Countries like Rwanda, South Africa, Senegal, Namibia, and Kenya are implementing affirmative action policies within their laws to empower and uplift women. Meanwhile, in Nigeria, yes, the giant of Africa, some of our laws are rather more discriminatory towards women, as they are mostly articulated in ways that disadvantage women. Right now, the major takeaway here is that Nigeria has a significant gender inequality issue entrenched not only in our society, but also backed by the federal constitution. In other words, women are legally oppressed in their own country. Chai! This country no balance for us. This is why the struggle for gender justice has been raging in Nigeria. Hence, the 5 gender bills, which were first proposed in 2022 as part of a larger constitutional amendment package to promote women's rights and participation in governance. So, let's look at these 5 bills and the issues they were meant to address in no particular order. Bill 1. Implementing 35% affirmative action in political parties. This bill was to encourage political parties to have more women in leadership positions by making it a necessity for them to have at least 35% female representation in their executive committees. Is that asking too much? Women already make up half the voting population in Nigeria, and they contribute significantly to canvassing support for political parties. Yet, they occupy less than 10% of party executive and decision-making positions. Are your hands on your head yet? Rejecting this bill means political party structures will remain male-dominated, with minimal opportunities for viable female candidacy and leadership. Meanwhile, Senegal, right now the Motiel, is implementing this law by mandating their political parties to have a gender-balanced list of flag bearers with a minimum of 50% for each gender. In other words, if a political party is presenting 100 names to run for office, about 50 must be women. Isn't that excellent? As a result, the percentage of women in Senegal's National Assembly has steadily increased, reaching over 43% in 2022. Let's move on to bill number 2, creating special additional seats in the National Assembly and state houses of assembly for women. This bill aimed to increase female representation in Nigerian politics by creating legislative seats to be exclusively occupied by a woman. Women currently hold only, and I say only, 4.4% of seats in Nigeria's National Assembly and about 3% of state legislative seats. This is a country where half of the population are women. I don't know if you are seeing the same thing I'm seeing, because true, this thing no balance at all. The special seats for women in parliament would have not only increased female presence in the parliament, it would have also ensured that women's perspectives will be properly considered in decision-making in governance and development. For example, it would have guaranteed the passage of other inclusive bills like the Gender and Equal Opportunities Bill, which has been pending since 2016. The concept of reserving seats in parliament for women is not new. Remember Rwanda now. The fact that they have many women in their parliament is not by chance, but enshrined in their constitution, because anyhow they want to do, women must make up nothing less than 30% in the Rwandan parliament by fire, by force. So it's something that is supposed to be planned and deliberately done. Moving on to Bill 3. 35% of political appointing positions for women. This bill was intended to allocate 35% of all political appointments at federal and state levels exclusively to qualified women. The implementation of the minimum 35% quota would have rapidly increased the number of women heading ministries, departments, agencies, and commissions. This would have ensured women's perspectives are properly represented when formulating policies, something that a male-dominated government executive team lacks significantly. How does a man want to understand the issues that a woman is going through? Are you feeling me? Moving on to Bill 4. Allowing women to acquire indigenship of their husband's state. Now this one, it pains me. Well, as always, I will tell you more about it. This bill aimed to enable married women to gain the status of indigenes in their husband's state after 5 years of marriage. Under current practices in Nigeria, are you ready to hear this gist? Married women are considered non-indigenes or outsiders in their husband's states, depriving them of opportunities and resources. This is worrisome for many women, as most traditions also strip married women of indigenous rights in their own states of origin as soon as they are married out, which uniquely disadvantages Nigerian women based on marital status alone. To marry now don't become problem. This has even restricted many women from seeking government appointments or political offices, and even effectively contributing to the development of their communities, because you go your husband village, you no follow. You go back your village, you no follow. What do you now go do now? This bill would have changed all that. And finally, Bill 5. And this is granting citizenship to foreign-born husbands of Nigerian women. This bill is intended to grant citizenship rights to foreign spouses of Nigerian women, just as is already obtained by foreign spouses of Nigerian men. Because, as it is now, if a woman marries a foreigner, nothing will make that man a Nigerian citizen. Oh, you do not know? Better know now, because myself, now so the thing shock me. This aspect of the Nigerian constitution legalizes discrimination against women and leaves their spouses vulnerable, denying them possible inheritance rights and stability in the country. The 5 bills which were rejected by lawmakers was an opportunity for Nigeria to show that every citizen matters and all are equal regardless of gender. Pushing for gender justice in Nigeria is not just a moral obligation. Something we do to make ourselves feel good. No. Rather, it is economically strategic, and Rwanda is a typical example we can learn from. As a result of closing gender gaps, the country's economy has grown at an annual rate of 7.7%, with rising incomes and declining poverty. Most Nigerian cultural practices already undermine women's rights across families, workplaces, and the society at large. And when you compound that with how discriminatory the laws can be against women, it becomes evident why gender activists are clamoring for equal rights, opportunities, and representation. I hope you see that all the hard work they're putting into this is not just for cruise. So, what's the course of action? As of the time of recording this video, the International Women's Day is approaching. This will be an opportunity for everybody, civil society, private organizations, and individuals to make their voices heard. We need to resuscitate the gender bills debate and reawaken the struggle for gender justice in Nigeria. You can contribute by sharing or liking this video to spread awareness. If you love your mother, your sister, your wife, or that special friend, start today, press that button now. Like it and share it. Don't just sit and watch it and be nodding your head there, okay? Finally, it is very important that we begin to apply pressure, apply it to their necks. The necks of our lawmakers, once again, to revisit the 5 gender bills and pass them into law. In case you have forgotten the 5 gender bills, scroll back and rewatch the video. I mentioned all 5 of them in this video. I beg, let the Nigerian women breathe.